Alright, so we're going to be playing some Midweek Magic today. It is one for all. What this format is basically everything is unbanned. And so you can build whatever deck you want, except it's a singleton format. 60 card deck. So we're running a Sultai deck here. I know you see a little red symbol here, but that's because Lutri is our companion. It makes sense to use Lutri as our companion because, well, it's a singleton format and everything is unbanned and unlimited, so figured why not. How many times are we going to actually play Lutri? I'm not really sure. I feel like we're going to have turns where we'll always have stuff to do, and Lutri won't be really much of a factor, but it's just there just in case it does come up every now and then. So it's a free card essentially, just like how companions were, and how they are kind of still after they got nerfed. So figured let's give it a shot. I wonder what other decks are out there. I feel like if your deck is running blue or red, play Lutri. We have a sideboard because we have Divide by Zero in our deck, but I don't think it's going to come up very much, the cards in our sideboard lessons. We've got some things. We got some removal spells, some big spells here. We'll see what our opponent's on. If they're on control, we're not going to be in great shape. The deck list I found, I tweaked it around here and there so that I could minimize the amount of wild cards I use. I did use a few, but I invest mostly in cards that I know I could use in like Historic Brawl or in the future, like Time Warp and Demonic Tutor, cards that I've kind of needed anyway. Okay, they got Robin Tree. That's an interesting one. Not sure what they're gonna do with that. Let's go Temple of Mystery. It's not like we got much of a turn 3 play. Do we want that on top? We'll throw that to the bottom here. I don't think we need that. We've got a lot of ways to find basic lands, so I want to minimize the number of basics we actually draw. Let's see what our opponent's doing. They're playing Once Upon a Time, so that's interesting. I figured they're a 5-color deck if they're going to be doing that. You know, I'm gonna do this, I guess. I'm gonna put Lutri, or at least I'm gonna put Lutri into my hand. I don't think we need to keep up mana for a power word kill. We're probably just gonna Desperate whatever they play. Prosperous Innkeeper. Well, never mind. It's not a good card. So what we gotta think here. We like to play Death Sprout. Thing is, I got Temple here. I don't think I really care about the Prosperous Innkeeper very much. Then we'll run out Temple of Malady, see what we get on top. It's a land. Sure, we'll keep that on top. What kind of deck? Wow, they got 3 of their Triomes in a singleton format. Impressive. Okay, they're playing Escape to the Wilds. It's not like we could have done anything about that. A lot of lands, got Coma. So they play another land. That's 4 Triomes. Wow, they found 4 of their Triomes. And yeah, they dug with Once Upon a Time and Escape to the Wilds, but still, that's impressive. Dude, trying to bait out our Lutri. Nah, it's just 1 damage, whatever. Okay, so Coma. Let's see, Power can kill it. So they can't play Coma, I don't think, because they have They can only play one more land next turn. That's the good news for us. The question really then becomes, what land do we put into play untapped in case we need to do Lutri into Power Word Kill? I don't think we do need to, but in case it becomes it does come up. Let's see. I think I want more black mana, so I'm gonna go with Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, I'm gonna run with that. Pay 2 life. We'll see what happens with that. In a turn. I don't think my life total is gonna matter too much until the very end here. They're not an aggro deck. We're not running counters other than divide by 0. Get your free point damage. I gotta play something. That's a ton of mana to work with here. Wow. They ain't gonna do anything. That's crazy. There goes all their cards. Let's play Quandrix Cultivator. They want to counter this, I mean, by all means. Remove it, whatever. We're just here to ramp. Let's see. Let's see, one. Which land do we want? We got mostly black mana, but then the next color that's most prevalent, we got 3 blue sources, 5 green sources, so I would say we go with Simple Island. Oh, hey! It comes into play untapped. I kind of forget that. Wow, they didn't play anything. So no, like, instant speed draw spell. Is their hand just full of removal? Alright, Teferi Time Raveler is an interesting one. So Teferi is annoying because it kind of screws a Lutri here. You know, I'm gonna cast Lutri now. It seems weird, but it's not like we're gonna get very much value off of it anyway.
Responsibility. This might be a bad idea.
Okay, so we have 8 mana to work with now. Okay, so they did +1 for a reason. They've got some sort of removal spell to flash in. The question is, what is it? And I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's a 3-mana board wipe of some sort. Is there a 3-mana board wipe? I'm trying to remember if there is one. We're just gonna swing in for now. Oops. No force in the block.
Make another move.
I don't like the idea of playing Liliana without Vorinclex on board. Hmm. What am I most afraid of here? Let's see what they got. Let's run out the Lily.
If I were you, I'd just surrender. This looks like a fun new toy.
We've got to be proactive at some point here. We found a small window to play the Lily anyway.
I'll protect you.
Unfortunately, none of our removal deals with planeswalkers. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Interesting. So looks like they're gonna choose. So they're gonna get information from our hand, and they're gonna choose Liliana. Oh, that's unfortunate. Do we have a way to deal with that? Oh yeah, I forgot we can't even play Power Word Kill at instant speed because of stupid Teferi. Okay, so they didn't play the Bone Crusher Jar. It means that they must have something else. Let's swing in again. I really don't want to play Vorinclex just yet, especially with Liliana just like kind of like shut down right now.
Want me to phase you out of time?
I suspect a counter is coming, but I'm gonna run Golos. I feel like they've only had removal. Now there are two options we have. We can get the Field of the Dead, or we can get the World Tree. The reason why I think I might like Field of the Dead better is because I don't think our Golos is going to stick around for very long. So I'm gonna remove Field of the Dead here. This means literally every land in our deck is live in some way. If our opponent wants to board wipe us, unless it's like a mass exile spell like Shadow's Verdict or Extinction Event, we'll get some draws off of Liliana. There's a plethora of cards that could be running in a 5-color deck. They could be. There's all the dangerous extra turn spells.
Don't worry, I got
Time
this.
Warp, Nexus of Fate, Arwen's Epiphany, in conjunction with Teferi. It's pretty gross. Ooh, that's nasty. That was one scenario that makes it much worse than World Tree. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna brainstorm here. I'm gonna draw some cards. Okay. Divide by zero actually could be useful here because I could flick away their zombie, and I do have a way to blow up their Sorcerer's Spyglass in my sideboard. So that is nice. So that way we can turn on our Liliana again. The question is if I'd rather just play Vorinclex. I'm gonna run with this. Alright, so I'm gonna bounce. Oh, this thing. Oh, seems. Alright. I'm gonna slam a jamma everybody here. Wait, I don't think that's necessary, right? I just need to swing with 2 dudes. Yeah. That's how it'll be done.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Welcome to Witherbloom College, class. Come on, there's gotta be something useful. Ugh.
I'm not really sure if that was the right thing to do here, but I probably should have played Vorinclex. But, oh well. Ow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's gross. What the heck? Dang. I mean, that sucks.
They were allowed to serve anyway. Raid.
Hmm. It's actually 6-9. Okay, well, our opponent just concedes. That works too. A weird game to navigate, but we gotta see some of the cards in our deck. Lutri just ended up being a body. That's all it functioned as. But, I mean, it did something, surprisingly. Friggin' Agent Treachery, though. Ugh, gross. We're not running Agent Treachery, but I feel like we should. There's so many good spells to play, or to... Valkyrie Awakening, nice, okay. I could have placed one Ugin in our deck for an Agent of Treachery, but... Ugin, I like Ugin. It's so hard to figure out what to cut. I mean, the deck list is pretty flexible. I'm just using whatever cards I have, and I recommend the same because these events usually aren't worth burning so many wild cards for, unless you really need those cards. Oh wait, I am. Wow, I said I wasn't playing Agent Treachery, but I am. Oh gosh, I feel a little embarrassed now. Yeah, I guess I am running it. I thought I cut it, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, we'll run out Ice Tunnel, then we'll play Vine Glimmer Snarl. Oh, look at that. They've got a Vine Glimmer Snarl as well. Okay, reveal the island, which they'll probably see anyway. I'm gonna run a Paradise Druid. I don't need to explore just yet. And Paradise Druid has Hexproof, so it should... Oh well, they pitched Uro into the graveyard. That's pretty neat. Yeah, we're just gonna explore. I don't think our opponent counters that. Nope. Alright, cool. We'll play the island that they know is in our hand. I don't think they're gonna mess with our Paradise Druid. So I'm just gonna play Watergrave untap, then Lutri into our hand. That's the most mana efficient play I could think of. Looks like they're playing a Simic Ramp deck. 2 spells in the graveyard, need 3 more. Alright, they're foretelling. Four, 5. Okay. Let's play Wall Blossoms. That's not something they'd want to counter. We're just playing dudes. Okay. Cool. We're just gonna play Breeding Pool tapped. Right? Yep. I think we're gonna get in for a little bit of damage too. Alright. A Field of the Dead. See, this is why I'm actually running... So I'm running 2 basics of each type in my deck. Island, Swamp, and Forest. And I'm running 1 snow and 1 regular land of each. So that way I can... Every land has a different name, technically. Our opponent probably is drawing a couple of... I think they would be running a mix of both, but who knows. Alright, so we got 5, 6... I really want Agent Treachery this Field of the Dead, but I'm not going to do it until they're tapped out. We haven't played anything super threatening, which is why they haven't done anything, I don't think. Let's go with the Black Manners. Let's get a Quandrix Cultivator. Counter? Feel free to counter. Full Mystic. Okay. Alright. Well, we're not going to attack. We'd like for our opponent to tap out so we can grab their Field of the Dead. Guess they ain't gonna tap out.
We are all connected. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
So what we are gonna get rid of their blue source. Which means, ooh, stealing their Nissa would be nasty. I think stealing their Field of the Dead would be the better play here. Problem is that they're gonna get so much mana next turn. I think like 6. We only have one forest. That Nissa is gonna be a problem. I'd really would love to take the Field of the Dead, but I think Nissa's more problematic for us. Ha 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 ha! We did it! Yeah. It cuts them off way more mana, because they would have like 8 mana next turn, potentially. Maybe even like 10. And things I'm scared of, like if they play another forest, they could have 6, 7, 8, untap one of their forests. So they could have access to Ugin, Ulamog, all those big threatening bombs. So stealing a Field of the Dead is not so great. Take their Nissa away, and suddenly they're now back at 5 mana, 6 mana maybe. I can't think of ways for them to deal with Nissa right away, and it just buys us so much time. Although our hand really is just like board wipes, so it wasn't really much going on, and Lutri. I mean, Nissa would just take over the game. I mean, lands. I could put any number of forest cards. I only have a few forests in the deck. I mean, it counts like stuff like Breeding Pool, the Triomes, stuff like that, but it thins the deck just a bit more. Field of that super tempting target for Agent Treachery, but Nissa was, well, clearly the right call. Crazy, I said I didn't have Agent Treachery, and it turns out I did, and it ended up pretty much winning me the game here, so that's how it'd be. If you want those quick wins, you know, game-winning spells like that, extra turn spells, I mean, they do the job, as if you've got them. Let's claim my prize. I didn't really get to use my board wipes. I ended up playing against very mid-rangey decks. Alright, well, let's take a look at my deck. For those who are curious. I always like to play them first, give you a little bit of surprise, then do the deck review at the end. So Lutri, I mean, if you're playing blue or red, I say just play it. Like, make it your companion, even if you're not. Just put it as a companion. Throw off your opponent, play some mind games with them, even if you're not running these colors, because like it doesn't hurt. It really does not hurt. It's a singleton format, so Lutri is always going to be legal and viable because you meet that companion requirement. And heck, both games I added to my hand. Now, did I played in my first game for no value, just literally just as a body to threaten Teferi, but it did that's something at least, right? And then second game didn't really come up, but you know, if I drew like a brainstorm, or if I just decided I needed like to copy my removal spell, then Lutri is a thing, and you know, it's flexible, and I liked it actually quite a lot. I love the utility one. I love doing things like that. There's only upside by playing Lutri as your companion in your sideboard. It does take up a sideboard slot, so keep that in mind. So if you're trying to play some lessons, you decrease the number of cards in your sideboard by 1, so you only play 6 lessons instead of 5. Or if you're trying to play other cards like, say, Mastermind's Acquisition, which can technically tutor for cards from your sideboard. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, so we got Brainstorm. I mean, this is the best cantrip, like, in the game. I had to burn a wild card, but I mean, I think it's worth it because I think it's legal in Historic Brawl. I think so. If I want to, I'm gonna start putting this in my Brawl decks. Search for Escanta. I mean, there's a ton of non-creature spells. I mean, filtering your draws is really nice. Cast Down, Infernal Grasp, Power Word Kill. These are my removal spells. The deck I saw had Doomblade, but I didn't have a Doomblade, and I didn't want to burn a rare wildcard just for a Doomblade effect. And the fact that like there are a good number of black creatures going around, so it would be terrible in certain matchups. Infernal Grasp is a catch-all solution. Yeah, it's not as great against aggro, but our deck does have ways to deal with aggro strategies anyway, with a bunch of board wipes. Demonic Tutor, I mean, I used a wild card for this, but I mean, Demonic Tutor is, of course, the best tutor out there. Search for anything. The reason why we have so many tutor effects is because we want to try to get to us. What was it? Emergent Ultimatum. That's the ideal card we want to get to. Is our big win condition. Of course, our deck does not need the Ultimatum, as we saw. I didn't play Emergent Ultimatum. It's a singleton format, so probability of seeing that not as high. But obviously there's added flexibility of just find whatever you need at that moment. A board wipe, removal, or some way to push for game. Let's see. Valky God of Lies is I like this card because we can actually play the flip side. We are playing the World Tree, so we can technically have access to all the colors. So it's not like a card we'll play, with our normal mana base, but the idea is that we can choose this as a target for Emergent Ultimatum. Explore, Paradise Druid, our ramp spells, Tangled Florahedron. Wall Blossom is a nice way to block off early aggro while drawing some cards, and is overall just a good card actually, because your opponent's never going to counter this card. Wolfwill, Haven, another ramp, Growth Spiral. Got Divide by Zero. I'm actually starting to like this card a little bit more. Did not come up. We didn't play it at least, but it was an option in game one when we wanted to find one of our lessons, which was Containment Breach, because there are some powerful artifacts and enchantments in this deck. I don't think there have just many ways for us to deal with those artifacts or enchantments. So, Divide by Zero is a nice way to try to find those neat, very situational answers. We've got all these other spells in here as well. Environmental Sciences, Necrotic Fumes, Containment Breach, Pest Summoning, Introduction to Annihilation, Confront the Past. Just a bunch of situational spells that can come up if we need it. Let's see. Solve the Equation, a way to, again, find board wipes or Emergent Ultimatum. Grim Tutor, just another tutor. It is worse against aggro because you are losing 3 life, which is quite a hefty cost. But unfortunately, I don't have Mastermind's Acquisition, but I did have Grim Tutor, so I figured I'll just throw this instead. It's not much of a difference. Other aside from this is cheaper to cast. Cultivate, Ramp, Uro, good, just great card all around. Extinction Events, Ritual Soot, Board Wipes, Crux of Fate, also Board Wipe. Binding to Old Gods, just great, fantastic removal. I can't believe this is just uncommon, honestly. This is like a rare card to me. Dead Sprout kind of functions similar to Binding to Old Gods. It destroys a creature and also ramps at the same time. Quandrix Ult Cultivator throws a body down and also ramps. Time Warp, obviously extra turn spell. Crux of Fate, board wipe. Golos. This is left unchecked. You can find either Field of the Dead, which we did in our second game, only for it to be snatched away from us, or was it the first game? I think it was the first game. Or just find World Tree so you can start activating his ability and just generate a ton of value. Liliana, Dread Horde General, just a bomb card, especially in conjunction with Vorinclex. You can just toast your opponent. Professor Onyx, I just figured I wanted another bomb spell here. Agent of Treachery, just obviously a bomb spell. Auron's Epiphany, extra turn spell. Cures Best of Sea God. When combined with Vorinclex, it's pretty nasty. Get 8/8 and also get to the second chapter, which is tap all non-land permanents your opponent controls. And then, of course, Emergent Ultimatum, just a powerful spell that will probably win you the game if your opponent doesn't counter it. If you've got 3 extra turn spells in Time Warp, Auron's Epiphany, Karn's Temporal Sundering, or what was the last one I'm forgetting? Nexus of Fate. Definitely, I would recommend running 3. That way, when you do play Emergent Ultimatum, you can choose 3 different extra turn spells, and you basically are guaranteed 2 extra turns. Unfortunately, I don't have Karn's Temporal Sundering or Nexus of Fate, and Nexus of Fate is banned in like every format, so I did not want to waste a wild card just for that. Karn's Temporal Sundering I could have, but it's not a card I'm not gonna play in a lot of my decks, so I didn't feel like playing that. So I think that's why I played Agent of Treachery instead. Let's see. Lands are important. I'm just playing, one island, one snow-covered island. The same thing I was talking about earlier about how I want to make Field of the Dead as live as possible. And in a singleton format, it was gonna happen anyway. But there's always those cases where you end up getting like 2 of the same name basics, and so those are always a little awkward. So this just kind of ensures that that does not come up at all. That once you have your 7 or more lands, you will always get that zombie out on the board. Let's see, you got Lutri. The activated ability is not going to come up, but it's mainly to fix your colors. And then pretty much the mana base is kind of straightforward with all the different dual lands that are out there. I am playing the snow lands. The list I saw only played Guild Gates. I was like, why play the Guild Gates when there's literally better versions of the Guild Gates out there? It's not like we were playing cards with Guildgate payoffs anyway, so I replaced those Guildgates with the snow duels because you can actually fetch them off of Binding the Old Gods, because you just have to search for a forest card of any kind. Granted, of course, you probably search for Zagatrium most of the time, but if you already played the card, right, you can find those snow duels, which can matter. If you want to run an alternative board wipe to run, I think would be let's see, what was it called again? What am I looking for? Blood on the Snow. Yeah, it's too expensive in my opinion though for this kind of format. But the more snow lands you run, the more value you can get off of that second box of text right there, being able to reanimate a creature or planeswalker from your graveyard. But yeah, that's the deck basically. It's a Sultai mid-range value deck, and it's pretty fun. There's a lot of different lines, I think, and I hope that this is helpful for some people. I just recommend not burning too many wildcards for these kinds of events, but just only burn wildcards if you want to actually use the cards for other decks, like I did. Otherwise, try to replace cards here and there with whatever you've got and just make it work, because it's a singleton format, so you may not ever see any of those cards that you like. I didn't see Time Warp, I didn't see Demonic Tutor, the cards that I use wild cards for. I use Wildcard for Divided by Zero because for some reason I didn't have a copy, but it's just an uncommon, so that's not a big deal. Commons and uncommons I don't mind burning wild cards for, but when it comes to rares and mythics, I'm much more conservative about those. But yeah, that's the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed that.